Guess what? You're tough enough to rise above and go beyond anything, anything that you're faced with right now. Today, if you are hearing this message, it is because you've been chosen. You've been chosen to overcome. You've been chosen to go beyond your circumstances right now, to truly become the greatest version of yourself. What does that even mean, the greatest version of yourself? Right? The best version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. These are terms that along my 12-year healing journey, right? And really just throughout my life, I've heard people tell me, man, you have gifts, you have talents, you have potential. They see the light inside of me. I've had people see the potential. And yet, throughout my life, I've self-sabotaged my potential. I've held myself back because of fears, because of insecurities, because of subconscious programs. And so when you hear somebody that maybe you don't know, but I popped up, I found you, saying you're tough enough to truly overcome. And what do you need to overcome? You need to overcome the version of you that no longer serves you, the version of you that no longer is satisfied with even the things that used to bring, if even temporary, relief. I can think about when I was still caught up in the alcohol, right? It was like, man, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And, one DWI, two DWIs, domestic violence arrest. I mean, it was just, continuation of just, I didn't want to let go. And I didn't know how to. I couldn't break that vicious cycle. And what's interesting is that even once I finally did hit the rock bottom and started to get sober, started working on myself, started asking for help, started, doing some soul searching, my problems didn't go away. And I had to find courage inside of myself to be able to face my problems, face my fears, face the things that cast a lot of doubt, that cast a lot of guilt, cast a lot of shame. And it's a really tough pill to swallow to really accept the fact that everything we're experiencing is our creation. And even to this day, like right now, I know you're probably going through something. I know you are. Because I'm going through some major, major shifts and challenges. And what I truly believe is happening is that we are being spiritually, energetically aligned with this highest self. Well, what is the highest self? The highest self is a version of you that isn't dependent on drugs or alcohol or pleasure seeking from the outside. That there's a version of you that's able to generate, manifest, cultivate the true source of love, of happiness, of joy, of peace from within. That nothing coming from the outside is gonna last. Right? Nothing from the outside will last in terms of relief, pleasure, peace, happiness. And I use the sports analogies a lot, but it's like if your favorite team won yesterday, right? What about today? It's always it's on for them, they're on to the next. Maybe you're on to the next. If your team lost yesterday, right? How do you feel about that? If your team is just sucking this season, how emotionally connected are you to these things? Is your identity truly connected to whether or not a team a professional sports team wins, that's how ingrained your identity is, that you have zero control over, but yet whether you're happy and having a good week or woke up this morning excited was based on what someone else did? Think about that. And so this is the area where I believe Spirit, God, is truly stretching us past our comfort zone. Because I think humanity, we've gotten so complacent spiritually, energetically speaking, that we're so consumed and distracted by all kinds of things that don't actually matter. I mean, here in the US and I don't know other parts of the world, like we're getting ready for a major presidential election, and there's so much uncertainty. And people, it's like we've been so divided as a country, just this polar opposite of, the right wing, the left wing, we're these people, those people. And we have turned these politicians and these government officials into like gods. We worship them as if somehow they're going to save us, as somehow what they do or them being there gives us a sense of relief, that we're emotionally connected, that if your person wins, oh, yay, everything's fine. And then yet it's not. When you really are honest with yourself and you look around, right, it doesn't change your existence. It's just a state of being, and it's temporary, because once it shifts to the other side, then if you have emotional meltdown, right? And this is the premise of what I'm talking about here in terms of being stretched to become the highest version of yourself. Well, the highest version of yourself is self-validating, is someone that's able to cultivate authentic love, happiness, joy, peace, confidence, kindness, unconditional love from within. It's literally your internal dialogue, so that it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside. No matter what is happening, no matter what the weather is, no matter who won, no matter who lost, no matter who's at war, anything, no matter what destruction has come, natural or human-made, conspiracies, no matter who falls in love or who gets arrested, no matter what is happening in the world around you, you are centered on yourself and you are in control of your emotional state of being, and you have the right, and we are being stretched to get to that place. Here's the kicker, though, is that in order to get there, you have to face your fear. You have to be able to think different, do things different, move different, feel the emotions that are within you, the things that are coming up. And that takes being really courageous. And that's why I'm saying you're tough enough. You're tough enough to face your fears, to solve the problems of your life, The problems of your life isn't whether or not someone made the play yesterday. The problems of your life are literally the problems of your life. What type of problems do you have? Do you have financial problems? Do you have mental health problems? Do you have emotional health problems? Do you have spiritual problems? Do you have physical problems? Right? Do you have occupational problems, relationship problems? These are the actual things happening in your conscientious life. And yet there's many times throughout my existence where I would distract myself from my problems and go and deal with someone else's problems. Have you done that? Are you doing it right now? Are you using all these distractions that are socially acceptable as a means of putting your focus on something else in order to escape having to face your own issues and deal with them? Heal yourself. Put in that emotional work, that heavy lifting. And I believe that's what's happening on this planet right now, is that we are all being put through what I would consider probably pressure-packed circumstances and situations in our own personal lives that are going to cause us to feel emotionally uncomfortable. Now, if you're somebody that's still very chemically dependent or emotionally dependent on things from the external, you're going to keep going back to the same old things. And what I also believe is happening is those things are giving you less and less relief. Because it's the story, right? It's like you've built such a huge tolerance, especially if it's like, oh man, everyday type usage. And it could be everything from shopping, gambling, gaming, pornography, drinking, smoking, negative thinking. All of these things, they're not giving you the relief that they once did. And I believe this is by design. I really, truly believe this is God creating instability in the things that we run to versus going within. Going within and truly learning how to heal, how to release, how to get to the breakthroughs of releasing these emotional burdens that we're carrying around, these fears, facing your fears. Knowing that you are a creator of your existence and everything is happening for you, not to you. And that's a big shift. You want to talk about one of the biggest shifts that you can make is to truly wrap your spirit, your mind, your soul around the fact that your entire existence, the good, the bad, and everything in between and beyond hasn't happened to you. You're not a victim. These things are not happening to you. You're not being punished. You are being given the gift of life, which is an opportunity to grow. The gift of life is growth, and not in height, right? It is literally spiritual expansion of who you are, to understand I see you, you see me, we're one. Think about that. I see you, you see me, we are one. That's so profound. But I believe it's true. I believe that we are all connected. And as you get to talk to people and hear the experiences, it's like we all have this separation of self through our ego and through our government IDs and through our upbringings. But the experiences are kind of interwoven. It's really interesting. It's really interesting how there are synchronicities and storylines, and because we're limited by our emotions. The emotions that we have are limiting. So the things that are emotionally triggering you down a self-destructive path may not be the exact things that triggered me on a self-destructive path, but we're both being triggered down self-destructive paths, and we need to break free from that cycle. And you can't, I believe that it's not in your best interest to keep doing nothing or doing the same things. It's trying the new things. It's stepping into the void. Being bold and courageous enough to take a leap of faith, to try something so new, when I say face your fears, I'm talking about facing your emotional, your mental, your spiritual fears, the things that you're afraid to do because you've created programs, you've created, safety nets that have kept you complacent, comfortable in life. And we need to start getting more uncomfortable, because I can almost beyond a shadow of a doubt tell you that if you were to face a fear, to get on the other side of it is the most incredible experience that you've yet to experience. You've had little bits and pieces of this experience, but you've yet to experience the fullness of it. And yet your blessing is there. It truly is there. It's taking that leap of faith. And the way that you kind of build yourself up, I mean, it takes a level of self-mastery. And it's like, for me, along my healing journey, it's taken me embracing things that make me uncomfortable with intention, right? Cold water is one great example. Taking a cold shower, not running it till it's warm, but literally jumping in there, finding my breath, saying, okay, uncomfortable, getting into really freezing cold rivers and finding comfort, finding peace, finding bliss in the uncomfortable, knowing that the more and more that I expose myself to these very physically, mentally uncomfortable situations, that when the challenges come in, when life's real challenges come in, I can say, you know what? I can do this. Can I be scared? Can I be nervous? Can I be anxious? Yes, you can too. Give yourself permission to truly feel life's feelings. But don't be held captive by them. And don't feel like something is wrong with you, that you need to do something like get drunk, get high, or one of these escape routes in order to give yourself relief. Relief is just sitting there and like self-soothing. The way that you self-soothe is to literally understand, what is the emotion you're feeling? What was the shift in your state of being? Are you really angry, or is it that you're afraid? And because you're afraid of something, you're acting angry because you're trying to protect yourself, and you're embarrassed, or you're ashamed, or you're nervous, and you don't really know how else to behave, or really you're afraid to put words into it and to tell somebody something that's going on. We carry around a lot of shame and guilt. I know I certainly did. I still do. There's still a lot of things that I've done, and there's still a lot of things that come up, and it's like we have this, there's something ingrained in us about this standard of perfection, and it's like the only perfection that's out there is everyone's perfectly fucked up. We're all perfectly messed up in our own unique way. And yet we're so full of ourselves thinking that we have to fake the funk and play a role and not be vulnerable enough to share things with people. And it's because like we could be really nasty to each other. I see it from the youngest ages to the oldest. We could be nasty. You put your stuff out there, you know, people bombing on you from all over, all necks of the woods, right? People just being rude and impatient. And it's like, kindness, man. Kindness. And I'm at least in a place of spiritual maturity that I don't get triggered. Like when someone is acting out in a way that's like angry and really like just being nasty, like I know it's really a cry for help. It's not this, you know, it's a cry for help. They don't know the words, and they're acting out their pain body emotions, which is on the upper side. It's to protect themselves. So maybe I'll say something in a video and it triggers somebody, and they need to like discredit it and attack it, because if it's true, then that makes them feel like something's wrong with them. And they like, there can't be truths in what someone else is saying. What does this guy know about me? And it's like, I do know. I think this is the connection. I think this is why I've been given the opportunity to share my story and to put my message out there. And it's taken me a lot. I've really had to give myself permission to change, to grow, to expand, and to face a lot of fear, to face a lot of uncertainty, to release some shame, some guilt, and it still comes up. I mean, I'm going through some more challenging things, and I think even the farther you get along your healing path, I wish I could tell you it gets easier. You get stronger, but you still get challenged in incredible ways, man. Like I'm going through some new things that are just meant, that I believe are gonna take a lot of confidence and courage and belief and faith on my part to get through. And the old version of me would have really been breaking down, really been turning to some things to numb the pain, when it's like, just face it. I need to face these things and I need to move through them, knowing that I need to practice what I preach, that there truly is a positive solution to every one of your problems. I say this all the time. And guess what? I'm being challenged to believe what the hell I'm talking about. And I do believe what I'm saying. I truly do, but we have to believe it. And sometimes it's so intimidating that the belief needs to be like this faith of saying, I'm just going to trust and I'm just going to surrender. I'm going to surrender my ego, my fear, my doubt. I'm just going to surrender it and hand it to God and take that leap of faith. Because what do I have to lose? What do you have to lose? Some pride? Time? What are you holding yourself back from? Are you willing to give yourself permission to try some new things every day? And if you need help, which many of us do, many of us need help, and we're just not willing to take that leap of faith, to say, you know what, I need help. I'm so humbled and honored by those of you that are reaching out, even if it's just the comments, right, and creating a dialogue there. But those of you that are reaching out to actually sit back and do a one-on-one session with me, to really like open up and be vulnerable, non-judgmental. I hold your stories, your experiences in the utmost regard of confidentiality. And if it's something that you've been considering and thinking about, I'm telling you, if you hear this message right now, take the leap of faith, reach out to me. resultskillexcuses@gmail.com. No cost, no strings attached, 90-minute strategy session. I do need you to kind of share a bunch of the stuff you're going through. And I'm completely willing to sit back with you and try and sort through some of the goals, some of the dreams, and some of the things that you can work on, and give you a strategy, give you a game plan so that you can actually take and seize the moment and take action. Build some momentum moving forward into the new year, 2025. Like, let's do this together. Let's not sit back. Let's not keep doing the same things over and over again, letting time pass us by. Let's start living with intention, knowing that this is the time to create a better world. The better world isn't who gets elected. A better world is, can you show up as the best version of yourself? And if you show up as the best version of yourself, and I show up as the best version of ourselves, and then we go and inspire people around us to do the same thing, that's what makes this world better. Not who is elected, not who wins the game. And I can guarantee you that once we all start to do this, and it is happening, if you're not paying attention, trust me, it's happening. You're hearing this message for a reason. You cannot ignore it. You can't deny it. Your time is now. Whether you want it to be now, it doesn't have to be the perfect time. Everything doesn't have to be just the way you want it to be. It's having a mindset to say, I'm going to take the leap of faith. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? If you're miserable, if you're sad, if you're overwhelmed, if you're frustrated, if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you're scared, right? If you're carrying around all this guilt and shame and sorrow and just all of these painful emotions, what do you have to lose? Let it all go. That's the beautiful thing. That's what you have to lose. Let it go. Unpack the bags. Throw the bags away. Get rid of the bags that you're carrying around that are weighing you down. And I'm talking about the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical bags that you're carrying around, all that old baggage. And take that leap of faith. Thank you for listening to this message. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Share the message. If it's resonating with you, comment down below to connect. And reach out if you're interested, if you are truly ready, not just interested, if you're ready to turn around your life, to change your life, to truly start down that path, that spiritual journey, the hero's journey. Your time is now. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it would not be worth it. Greg's out.